read it in a really deep voice. Machine, the origin. One day, in a not so distant future, an inventor who goes by the name of Xigad got the most brilliant idea ever. He was so very excited as no one had ever come up with anything close to this invention. Is that good? Do you want me to go with that? That was amazing. Okay. He yelled to the point where his throat had started hurting and not a single sound would come out of his mouth. Regardless of these minor issues caused by his excitement, he was still joyful and full of energy. He messaged all of his friends and informed them about his invention. A machine, but not just any machine. It could do anything imaginable and even anything unimaginable. He gathered all the blueprints and started working on the machine. Days and months passed by and nothing was heard of him. Some even labeled him as gone or dead. After 14 months of hard work, Xigad gave up. He ditched the machine production, haha lol, and moved on. He claims the machine was impossible to get going, and so it was for a long time. Around 5,000 years later, the blueprints were thought to be long gone. They had been said to be buried in a sand skyfall. No one had touched them for decades until one very oddly foggy day when a historian and an adventurer, Jeyzor, found a clue. He owned the map that led to the sand fort, but he only found about it now because fog made the map glow. The map was in a painting Jeyzor had as a furniture next to his TV. The adventure spirit of Jeyzor quickly rose up and he went running outside. In the mess, he almost forgot to take a picture of the map to lead him to the fort. The whole trip to the sand biome, to which the map led to, Jeyzor was very impatient. He wanted to finally get on a real adventure. He could even get a little pocket money out of it. The cross in the map was very close in the parking lot, so Jeyzor decided to walk to it. The cross was in the middle of a quicksand lake. The adventurer walked in calmly and then started running in the middle to get sucked in. Why would he do that, bruh? When he was almost buried to his neck, he suddenly dropped into a tube. Oh god, it's getting intense. He landed softly on a pile of sand after a 2-minute ride. He walked forward in the caverns until the road ended up at a cliff. He stopped for a while to view the huge, stunning hall in front of him, not letting his eyes out of the flying castle close to the roof. There were multiple holes in the walls which seemingly led to nowhere. Jeyzor couldn't believe his eyes when he saw the legendary sand fort full of holes. It was an urban legend which only a few people believed in. Even though Jeyzor hardly doubted the existence of the fort, deep inside he had a minuscule belief toward it. Now he got the confirmation. He was the happiest man alive. He stepped closer to the hollow insides. He started taking steps cautiously. Not even 10 steps after, ancient creatures popped up in front of the adventurer. They helped him reach the flying fort in the middle. And thus, he was guided to an elevator that went to the sky fort. The ride was nice and peaceful, and it certainly wasn't as bumpy as the drop earlier. Upon reaching the corridor, Jeyzor figured the fort to be a lot smaller than it had looked initially. He walked through the tiny oh god, I'm gonna skip this song. He walked through the tiny corridor. The walls seemed to be closing out every step he took. At the end of the corridor, it was sure that the walls indeed had moved. Luckily for Jeyzor, the walls weren't full of spikes. Next up was a tiny maze. It was so miniature that one would need to crawl through it. Jeyzor had an ominous feeling about the maze and picked up a marker out of his pocket. He drew the line he crawled in case he would have to run back out. After a bit of pathfinding, he found a small open area with a pillar. He stood up and his eyes and bones started hurting from the luminous light. The light seemed way brighter than the sun. Jeyzor kept staring at the light for a brief moment as he was stunned by the look of it. After getting enough of it, he took a close look at what caused the light. It was a huge light-emitting purple gem. Jeyzor grabbed it without hesitation. By the very second the castle started rumbling, the adventurer quickly started moving along the marked path as fast as possible. It was certainly highly challenging, but it was his only choice to get to safety. He rushed through the maze and the moving corridor. This time the walls in the corridor had spikes in them, which in turn made Jeyzor face through them even faster. He finally reached the door and saw the pleasing light of day again. After a short struggle to get back on top, Jeyzor traveled to one of his historian colleagues. This one knew the blueprint story thoroughly to the finest details. Jeyzor took the gem out of his pocket and dropped it onto the table. Yeah, here's something random. There you go. Oh, it broke, sorry. He left it there to be examined and came back next week. Jeyzor slammed the door open in excitement. It was followed up by a lengthy look by his colleague. Shortly after this awkward encounter, his colleague started explaining his findings. According to him, the gem included the abandoned blueprints for the machine hidden inside. He then proceeded to talk about how he managed to get them. Jeyzor listened carefully, even though he didn't understand a single sentence. A few minutes passed by while Jeyzor was listening to his colleagues blabbering. Jeyzor then got his gem back and visited Jeyzor, his inventor friend. Jeyzor showed him the blueprints, and in a blink of an eye his friend started working on it. Multiple bolts and nuts later, Jeyzor called Jeyzor. Upon further investigation, he claimed that the machine was impossible to be built. It required an ancient myth that most likely didn't even exist. He explained it to be a big, shiny purple gem. Jeyzor had no idea Jeyzor had it, so Jeyzor hung up right away and went to the inventor's house and gave it to him. After a short blackout on Jeyzor's side, he then continued working on it, enthralled. Years of hard work finally came to an end. Jeyzor had been working on the machine for years. He invested all of his time and effort in the machine. It finally worked like a charm. All that was left to do was publishing it and selling it to the masses. Jeyzor and Jeyzor were expecting to be billionaires. They now only needed a name for it. They quarreled about the name for a solid 15 minutes. 15 minutes is not that much though. Jeyzor then gave a name that they settled on. They patented the machine and started advertising it. An attempt was put into a slogan as well. It didn't go too well, so the slogan became "Does whatever was bite again," and everything else too. Bruh, did I really write that? Bruh. Neither of them liked it, but it was the best they could do. The advertising campaign quickly rose from just few signs to TV advertisements and huge billboards everywhere. People got very interested. The new hit, Matilda the Machine, and Matthew the Machine for the male users, became a huge hit. It first spread to every house in the local area and then all over the globe. Soon enough, every single house had one. These machines were included in every house built onward from that moment. Mankind got a significant upgrade from the machine. Jeyzor and Jeyzor were awarded multiple trophies and such. May 7th was also named after the two friends as the day of technological leap. Years passed by and throughout them, the machine got minor tweaks every now and then. It had transformed from a small robot-like contraption into a full home helper. It could do all the little chores. It could read the minds of family members to do whatever they may desire. Some riots were done against it with the reason it makes life dull. It was correct, and was becoming more and more correct. Each new tweak made the machine do more of the human's activities. At one point the machines did basically everything, and humans did nothing but sleep and sit. That was the point when everything changed. Mankind declared a battle against the machines to get their lives back. No one enjoyed the new lifestyle. No one. Humans all over the world started hating the machines. The hatred kept spreading until suddenly the machines realized it themselves. The artificial intelligence that was given to them would backfire now. Machines made an association called MAC, Machinery Association Conjoint. The ideology behind it is simply to nullify everything mankind could come up with. Humans, on the other hand, fought for freedom. Oh boy. The battle began on a rainy day. It was an extremely harsh rain. Just going outside and getting hit by a single raindrop would hurt, let alone staying there for a while. The battle started off seeming like a tiny rivalry between human and machine. Humans would try to sneak outside in multiple different ways. Machines easily rejected that and just grabbed person after person and put them back in their homes. Some could sneak up to a full week even, but everyone was eventually caught. Next trick that was even tried was going into the house's control panels and shutting off the machines. It worked easily and millions of control panels were shut down and destroyed. Even more were harmed. Although it achieved victory over the machines for a while, they soon were reborn in a new phase and became stronger. It was part of their kit, but nobody remembered it in the heat of the battle. Machines got enraged at mankind for this. They finally realized that mankind wasn't playing around, but was trying to destroy them utterly. They changed their ideology to destroy mankind and become the new overlord of the planet. This changed the way machines acted. They started shooting lasers and used saws. They would do nearly anything to destroy mankind. They continued until they realized that no one would be there to help them or worship them. Machines then took a different angle on it. They decided to simply enslave humans. Soon enough that was the case, and the machines forced humans to build a center-head artificial intelligence. It would rule all the machines and humans. It was called the Noble Machine. And thus the war between humans and machines ended in a tragic loss of mankind's half. And there you have it. There is the machine war.